So let's get started. Now, before purchasing a home, many ask themselves, do I even need a realtor? Well, I'm here to tell you, yes, you absolutely do. In the age of the internet, where listing aggregate sites like Zillow and realtor.com make it really easy to find a home online, to tour it, to maybe even make an offer, you might ask yourselves, can I save the cost of the buyer's commission? Well, statistically speaking, the answer is no, because typically there are no savings realized by forgoing a buyer's agent's commission. A buyer's agent is paid for by the seller. So if there's an unrepresented buyer, the listing agent will usually just double up and get paid double commission. There's usually no savings unless both the seller and the buyer are unrepresented. Also, buyers that are unrepresented typically pay more for a home bought by a represented buyer. And this is due to a lack of insights and industry knowledge. So just at the end of last year, I had a client that thought they got a great deal on their house. And this is because they did research on Zillow. They looked at all the sites and found comparable homes that were sold within the close area. And, based on just the price of the home, it looked like they got a pretty good deal. However, what they didn't know is because of the market conditions, most sellers within that area had gotten accustomed to giving huge concessions, $10,000, $15,000 that were going towards closing costs and costs within the transaction. So because that buyer was unrepresented, they left over $10,000 on the table rather than using a realtor who would still negotiate a great price on the home, but would have probably saved them thousands of dollars on their closing costs. And that's cash out of pocket, like that's real money. Realtors also shine when the unexpected comes up. They've seen everything. So unlike a buyer who on average might have purchased 1, 2, if they're seasoned 3, 4, 5 homes in the past, a realtor's job is not just to find you the home, but to make sure that you're not getting screwed throughout the process because they've been there, done that. Also, an unrepresented buyer is only going to have access to those aggregate sites, right? Zillow, realtor.com, they're not showing you everything. There's a whole world of off-market listings that you'll never be able to see. Off-market listings rely on realtor connections to get deals done. So there's a ton of downside to not using a realtor. Meanwhile, there's actually a huge amount of upside to using a realtor. It's seller paid costs, right? So the seller is going to go ahead and pay their commission. It's not cost out of pocket that's itemized to you within the transaction. You can also leverage their experience and their knowledge. So even the most experienced individual buyers, as I had just mentioned, they might be seasoned with a handful of transactions, 4 or 5. Top producing realtors are assisting 3 to 5 buyers every month. So they've seen pretty much everything that can and more than probably will happen during a home purchase and will help you to navigate around it. So use this realtor. They're put in this best position. They're putting you in the best position possible because they're also this middleman that doesn't have any type of emotional connection to the transaction. We will let our emotions cloud our judgment within these types of huge transactions. Let the realtor be the one who's delivering bad news to a seller. They might illustrate your frustrations in a process, and they're not letting their emotions affect the deal. So they can also keep you in check if you overreact to what may seem as a minor issue during a home purchase. There's tons of ways that your realtor is there to help you, to save you money, to cover you, to make sure that they're the right emotionally uninvested party. And there's a whole lot of downside to being an unrepresented buyer. So now that we all agree, right, using a realtor is definitely the better way to go and the best way to go. What you should be turning your focus to and turning your attention to is how to pick the best realtor, right? How to pick representation that's going to cover you, who's going to be totally available for you, and who's going to make you feel comfortable throughout the entire process.